everybody, welcome back to our channel, We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And here's our non-spoiler review for Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix is directed by Simon Kinberg and stars Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. When Jean Grey comes in contact with a great cosmic power, she struggles to keep in control of her newfound powers. We just got back from seeing Dark Phoenix, and before we start this review, I just want to say something did happen that kind of affected our screening experience, and I feel like that probably is going to affect our rating, at least from my part, a little bit. So
because it happened right during the climax.
Correct. Towards like the build up, the end of the movie, and we're like, wait, what is that? So at the theater, we were watching a fire alarm, I guess.
don't even know if it was a fire alarm. I think it was like the emergency exit. Someone pushed it open, and then that pew, pew, pew.
So something happened, and it went on for about 25 minutes, and they didn't turn it off, but nobody got up to leave, but anyways, it was really distracting because the house lights came on, and then the emergency lights came on, and it was during some emotional moments with Jean, and, those close-up shots, and it really took basically everybody really out of the moment, but I just want to let you guys know that ahead of time, so that may have affected our screening a little bit. May have to give this a second watch and think and talk about it again in a spoiler review. We shall see, but I wanted to give you guys that disclaimer before going to our review. So before seeing this movie, we had seen the trailers. I thought they looked pretty good. I was actually I wouldn't say I was like really excited about this movie. I would say I was like excited but cautious.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Dark Phoenix story should have taken us longer to get there.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were going to try to do it all in one movie, I was like, ooh, it's a lot of details to all put in one movie. But I like Sophie Turner a lot. I like this cast of the X-Men, so I was looking forward to seeing it. What about you? Your anticipation going in?
Honestly, when I saw the trailers, I was kind of like, I'm a little nervous about this. There was something about it. The action seemed cool in the trailers. There was no, bad dialogue in the trailers, but there was something about it that made me go, I don't know about this. It gave me a little bit of I'm not sure kind of a thing. Now, this also could have been the fact that I knew of the history of the Fox deal with Disney, so I had, they probably don't have that much invested in it. But also, I do remember hearing when they first announced Dark Phoenix that it was originally going to be 2 different movies. And once the gossip of the Fox and Disney deal was going around, that's when the news came out that, oh no, it's going to just be 1 movie. And I think you could really tell that they did that in the movie, that they took this huge script and condensed it into 1 movie.
I don't really recall the news of them being 2 separate Dark Phoenix movies. So if there were news of that, I missed it or I forgot it. I do feel like if there were 2 movies and combined it in one, combined it into one, I kind of feel like that's the end product of what I felt as I was watching the movie, which was that the story felt rushed, that Jean Grey came in contact with this alien, this cosmic power, and then all of a sudden, it was like Dark Phoenix persona, and it wasn't, the change in her transformation wasn't earned. Did Sophie Turner do a really good job? Yes, I think so.
She's a good actress.
I think everybody on the cast did a really great job, to be honest with you, but I felt like those transformations and those moments weren't earned. It was very rushed, and we didn't feel the payoff from it, and I didn't feel as invested when Jean got to her kind of final stage.
Yeah, honestly, this movie, for me at least, kind of suffered from I don't care-alitis kind of thing, to where they didn't put enough into the moments to where it made you care about what was happening to these characters. They kind of just threw it at you and threw you the story behind Jean, the story behind this, and it turned into we got to tell you this, we got to tell you this, we got to tell you this, we got to tell you this. And it really, when that happens, it really makes you not care and not be invested in the characters or the story or the character development.
And I really wonder how this would be viewed by the audience who don't know X-Men. like you and I and most people that are probably clicking on to watch this review probably have some sort of knowledge with X-Men, whether you've seen the TV show or the TV show, the cartoon, read the comics, seen the previous movie, whatever. So you know the history and you've seen what they've done with Jean Grey / Phoenix in the past. But I wonder for like the general audience who aren't really as well versed in the X-Men world, how will they see this, and will they be kind of confused, or will they get it?
I still think that even if you're not a fan of X-Men and you haven't seen any of the X-Men movies, or you haven't really read any of the comic books, if you sit down and watch this movie, you're going to know something's wrong. You're going to be able to tell that, they didn't flush out this story, that they kind of just threw it all at you. I personally really thought that this suffered on a level that it's not just people who are big fans of this movie are gonna be able to tell that this just wasn't really well put together, or it was just insanely rushed, or they were like, okay, we're not doing 2 movies anymore, you now have to fit it all into one, kind of a thing. And honestly, because even, I don't want to say too much, but even like the main bad guy in this movie, I didn't care about. It didn't even really give them any story, but maybe like a 5-minute exposition.
Correct. There is no background on baddies in this, and
they're just baddies.
They give you like an explanation for their motivation, but I feel like again it wasn't earned, so therefore kind of like what you said about you didn't care, and I think that's kind of why we feel this way.
Yeah.
It's because like we care a little bit more about the characters that we've known. For example, like Professor Xavier, Magneto, Mystique, Nightcrawler, Quicksilver, and people like that. Like we care a little bit about it because we've seen them in different movies and we've come to really like their characters. Like for me, like I really like Quicksilver.
Yeah, I think he's funny.
Probably has like some of the best scenes in all the X-Men movies thus far. Nightcrawler too, but yeah, I just wish they didn't have to. If they did rush it, I wish they hadn't, because I would have liked to see certain storylines and certain character arcs a little bit more fleshed out.
Yeah, that is very true. And I just felt like they just kind of went with it really quickly. And even the characters that we do like from the past, I feel like they weren't really honest to a lot of their characters. Like, I don't really think that Charles would have had the kind of...
he made a lot of decisions that you don't think he would have made.
Charles Xavier as his character.
Right.
Yes. Same thing with Magneto. He reacted to some certain news that happened. I'm like, wait a second. Didn't you act this way
in a
complete opposite way in a previous movie? So it kind of suffers from what a lot of other X-Men movies do, is that there will be a really good one, and then they're like, okay, let's go off on a tangent and be like, oh, wait, we completely forgot all of this other stuff. And then we're going to retcon it with doing some time travel.
Well, I don't want to focus everything on like what we didn't like about the movie. I think it's important to say what we didn't like about it, but I think it's also important to kind of bring out what we also liked about this movie. Sure. And what I do like is I like seeing the X-Men as an ensemble, like we know them. And so when the team kind of came together, that's when I found like I enjoyed the movie a lot more. Specifically, actually, once Magneto entered the movie, I think the pacing really picked up for me because it kind of dragged certain parts. It was just kind of standing and talking, sitting and talking, mopey and talking. I'm just like, there's a lot of talking, and where's the X-Men and the swish stuff, so...
Well, and that is true. I mean, it looked very beautiful, too. Some of the special effects that they had, really cool CGI, but honestly, I have to actually disagree a little bit because I even didn't like the fight scenes with the X-Men. There was one that happens in the streets, and I thought it was almost downright laughable to where it is just not up to the par of cool X-Men mutant fights.
I don't completely disagree, but I wasn't disappointed in it. I thought it was okay. I think the reason that it didn't look as cool was because maybe they didn't have as many people in it. No,
it just was. I personally don't think it was well choreographed with their powers. Their powers didn't mesh well. I mean, the way that they were using their powers to keep the kind of fight and the flow going just didn't quite work for me. And I'm like, well, why would you use your powers that way when I've seen you use them in a much more powerful way.
Yes.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and plus I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I'm like, why don't you just do this?
I will say, a couple of stands out for me when the fight scene came along, aside from Jean Grey, who looked really cool, even though she was just kind of like I still thought that like she looked really cool, but Storm and Nightcrawler, I feel like I really like their specific action pieces.
Nightcrawler had a few cool moments, and I was pretty like, oh, that's cool how you used your powers there,
yeah.
right? But for the most part, I honestly didn't. I wasn't impressed.
Okay, so then let's close out this video and give your rating.
I'm sorry, but this one was just kind of... I went in with low expectations, and I still came out of it going, you know, I'd much rather have stayed home. I think if you have the choice, skip it. There's really no need to see this movie. If you must, wait for it to come out on streaming, so skip it.
Oh, wow, okay. I really didn't think you were going to grade it that low, but that's definitely... You're entitled to your opinion, of course. I found it entertaining. I like the performances from all the actors. I enjoy visually. I thought it looked great. I agree with you to a point with the fight scenes. I don't feel like the story and the character arcs were as well, could have been more flushed out, and if it had given more time, like the Jean Grey and the villain motivation, like all of that could have been given more time, and it wasn't earned, so the payoff just didn't feel as great. I am going to rate this movie a rent it. Well, you guys, that's it for our non-spoiler review. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Put in the comment section below once you've seen the movie what you think of it, and who is your all-time favorite X-Men. Comment below. What is it?
Favorite X-Men.
Who's yours?
Oh, I'd say Wolverine off the top of my head, but honestly, I love Rogue, Wolverine, Gambit.
Gambit's my favorite.
Gambit, Nightcrawler. I liked the religious aspect from Nightcrawler. I always thought that was really cool on how religious he was.
Well, you guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.